All right. Our next speaker is going to present, we have another MCP to HTCondor related talk, but this one is focused on admins. So Ilya, I think your challenge will be to convince some of the CHTC admins, specifically Moat, because he doesn't even have a smartphone. He uses a dumb phone. He doesn't have a smartwatch. He's got a mechanical watch. So let's see if you can convince him that an MCP is right for a HTCondor admin.
I mean, I'm not sure I want to
Oh,
convince people yet.
okay. Very good.
But first step.
Right.
So actually, this talk is going to be a bit more than just about MCP. Just to give you first idea what this is, what's my perspective. So I'm from University of Chicago, and there we have Atlas Midwest Tier 2 Center, which is one of the largest computing centers of Atlas. It has 50,000 cores and around 100,000 jobs per day. So on top of that, we have the largest analysis facility in Atlas, and we have more than 830 users at the moment. And we provide them all kinds of services like interactive nodes, Jupyter, Dask, Condor. We also have Atlas Analytics cluster, which is huge Elasticsearch cluster with all other kinds of services connected to it. We run all kinds of distributed systems and local systems. Yeah. So quite a lot of services that we have to worry about. And HTCondor is one of our core services. So both for Midwest Tier 2 and analysis facilities. So what we want AI to help us is to help end users, basically preventing them from shooting themselves in the foot in all different ways. And then we want to assist us operating these systems, and we wanted to optimize operations for us, and all kind of other auxiliary things like writing our documentations or shifter workflows and stuff like that. So that's our general motivation. But here I'm going to concentrate only on these two kind of use cases. So one is, to help with directly to users and to help administrators. And for users, normally would ask things like, are my jobs running correctly? What's the status? What was wrong with it? And now for that, we have, a bot that knows our system and can interact with our analytics platform. But this one is really latency sensitive. The user doesn't want to wait for 2 minutes to get response. So, but traffic is very low. So you get maybe 1 request per day from a user. And questions here tend to be really complicated. So that's why this is really chatbot that runs in workflow in OpenAI. And yeah, there you need guardrails and very, very different kind of workflow than the other one. So the other one is really for administration. So here questions are mainly like monitoring system. And for that reason, you normally run it in cron or whatever. And this traffic is constant and known. So you already have full context and you know how much it's going to take, and it's much simpler problem. You don't worry about guardrails or any of that. But you have this very large context. So our infrastructure is both in cloud and on-premise. In cloud, we have OpenAI and Anthropic. And on-premise, we run remotely accessible MCPs, 4 or 5 of them. We have a very large vector store in our Elasticsearch, and we have these 2 DGX Spark nodes to run LLMs on-prem. So there we use Nemotron, Free, Qwen, and Gemma4. Now, to support the AF or Tier 2 administration, so it needs to know all about our systems. And it has to keep state of the system in memory. So if, today something is, we upgrading some nodes or whatever, it should know and not, it should remember that and not bug you about it, tomorrow. And then it has to have access to all these systems. Kubernetes clusters, it needs SSH access, Flux, Puppet, whatever. We need front-end to interact with it, and our communication is through Slack, Mattermost, Discourse, stuff like that. For most of the things we want human in the loop, we need periodic execution, and because we have so many systems, we want them to be in separate agents, just to limit the size of the context. So we had several, we started this like a few years ago, and we had all kinds of approaches. We tested, different kinds, like NA and stuff like that. None of it really worked well. I mean, most of it we could make work. We made even our custom one, but problem is really supporting it. And that came OpenClaw, and you probably all know about OpenClaw. It's a rather popular thing. Basically, you have this gateway server that takes care of authentication, routing, session management. You talk to it through different channels. It has out of box like 30 different channels. We use only 4 of them. And then it has this agent runtime where it builds a prompt. It takes care of session, and it has this very nice context window guard. It can talk to whatever kind of LLM on-prem or in the cloud, and it runs tools and MCPs for you. Now, it got quite a bad rep right away because people were using it in just bad ways, insecure ways, let's say. And then NVIDIA came with NemoClaw, basically making it enterprise grade. So they basically lock down everything. So you have this NemoClaw CLI, and then orchestrates things in OpenShell. And then inside OpenShell, you have K3S, and in it, you have OpenClaw, just regular OpenClaw running in that sandbox. So by default, everything is locked, and you have to explicitly say, you can access this file system or this directory, or you can access only this website or stuff like that. So it's really least privilege, human in the loop, immutable logging, all the things that we need. Now, problem with it and with OpenClaw is really both of these are in alpha. So a lot of rough edges, and basically every day you come to work, you update, because there are going to be changes every single day. And for this reason, we are for now limiting it to non-critical infrastructure. And in it, we run all kinds of agents. So we have currently 6 agents, one taking care of Kubernetes cluster, one about Atlas conditions, one for HTCondor, NFS, whatever. And there are going to be more of them coming. So these agents are rather simple. I mean, they are very different thing than your regular, programs. So you configure them basically with a few lines of YAML and a few MD files. And here you can see a part of HTCondor agent identity and its skills. But it's really short. It's like 3 pages of text. Yeah? And so it's rather easy thing to do. Thing is, we don't make it like in one go. You write the simplest agent with 1 paragraph, and then you update it with time, and you learn what it knows and what not. So thing is, LLM already knows a lot of things. You don't have to tell it, HTCondor is this and that, and use these commands for HTCondor. No, you don't have to do any of that. It already knows these things. So all you have to say is, what you want it to do. Huh? And so, and because these are non-deterministic, it could be that, sometimes it works completely fine for 15 days, and then exactly the same instructions give you a slightly different thing. It goes in some strange way, and then you notice it, and then you correct it. And then it won't do the same thing again. So on top of that, we want to be able not only to see these and correct these, but you want to have log of all of this, and we want to be able to peek into the memories. So this one we set up. So actually all our agents are sub-agents. There is a master one, which is orchestrator, which does these self-backups and stuff like that. And then we have MCPs. And so all our MCPs are deployed in Kubernetes. They are streaming HTTP. They are globally accessible. We have auth done through our key poke that we run at HTCondor. And you can use them just, you take the configurations, put them in Cloud Desktop or OpenAI, and just use them as is without any agent. And then we communicate through Slack and mail. So this is how it's actually organized. It's not specific MCP for HTCondor. We have two that we need to use. One is execute MCP. So basically, it has a single function where you give it, or where agent gives it which node it wants to log into and what command or shell script it wants to execute. And for now, it runs as a regular user, just like any other analysis facility user. This MCP will execute that code and then returns whatever is out. So that is needed so that it can do like Condor Q commands or whatever Condor commands. Yeah? So no special rights. At some point, that user, AI bot user, will be added to Q super users. But what would be nice if we would have a little bit finer grained rights. Yeah? And then the other one is Elasticsearch MCP. So thing is, we have @stash sending assets to our Elasticsearch, and it is very helpful for all kind of historical information. I mean, it's not only historical, but everything that finished until 20 minutes ago. And that's nice because it's really fast, and you basically never want to look at individual jobs. You want to get these aggregations. And LLMs are really, really good in writing Elasticsearch query. And so you get aggregations really quickly and exactly what it wants. But so it's really helpful to, track a single user over time, over last year or whatever. And it is good for time-based things. Yeah? And it doesn't make any load on schedule. So, I mean, it would be great if we would have like real-time information also about job, basically every change in state of a job. But if it cannot be, that's also fine.
So to address the box on the right, I would appreciate hearing from you guys. We can drop some information from the SCADI into the Elasticsearch. The question is, what would you like to know? Because if we drop everything, then we will trash. So we have some thoughts about providing information like time series trends that now we are doing per user or per project, collecting into the SCADI. So if we can get some guidance in saying, look, if you can every 15 minutes or every half hour, drop us a record like this, that will help the MCP to answer these, because we understand that at the moment, now you know epochs, but you basically know when things are done and not about the active part.
Yes.
So let's have a discussion also with TJ on, if you can give me that, it will be helpful. And then we can see whether we can do it and drop it into the Elasticsearch, okay?
Yeah, I talked to Brian this morning about it. Yeah. So, yeah, we're going to be working together on that.
We can imagine, but you seem to be a customer of the data.
Yeah.
So that is extremely valuable to us.
So this is a kind of report we get from the agent that it sends to our Slack channel every morning, and basically, I mean, this is just the beginning of it. It's quite longer, but you know, it tells you about state and what are things in hold, and then what are users that have a lot of help jobs, and then it drafts email to user, sends it also in another channel, and then you know, Gordon just looks it, approves or not, or tell it, change this wording or whatever, and it makes communication to users much faster.
And another question that would be, I mean, or something that will be useful, if I am another site and I want to do what you are doing, can we put together a recipe of how to deploy an HTCondor agent using, because it seems that a good chunk of what you are doing is off-the-shelf technology, right?
Yeah, so this is really a simple skill. Once you have MCPs that can access the data, then the rest is just a simple skill. And I'll come to that.
Yeah, so please, let's see if we can also replicate it or put down a recipe or something, saying if you want to do what these guys are doing in Chicago, here's what you need.
Yeah, actually, I don't want you only to replicate. I want to make it better, and then I take it from you.
Okay, so
You
let's
can start from ours.
Yeah, but you are the one that actually doing it now. Can Todd convince both to use it? We'll see.
Yeah. So, in summary, so we manage multiple systems, and HTCondor is one of them. And you know, our very simple agent is already helping us. Yeah. So this is what we would see as would be really helpful. So like official agent skill, where it would, you know, you would basically, me as a user would just say, you know, we have HTCondor, find about it and manage it for us. So it would have self-discovery, like it would know exactly what version you are running, how is it configured, what are all the variables, stuff like that. So that I don't have to tell it, you know, this variable in Elasticsearch is what you would consider your timeline. Like it would be much nicer if there would be just official agent skill for that. And then with these preset policies, like I want it only to monitor, or I want to also that it manages my queue, or even I want it to tune my queues. So you can go like to different levels of giving control to it. And then it would be nice to have this real-time Elasticsearch data and a bit finer grained write privileges. And what we don't really need is you know, custom-made agent that works now specifically with this provider or that provider, because they change APIs and everything so quickly, it would be impossible to keep it up to date. and we don't want like, just dumping whole Condor API into MCP, because then you end up with hundreds of functions and your context becomes huge. And most of these things that are periodically run, we run on-premise. And these models are limited to, I don't know, now are limited to 32,000 tokens for context. So I wouldn't need really full API into it. So that's about it.
That was a great talk. I mean, having an agent mine the Elasticsearch data and make changes and send emails to users is pretty wild. Questions? We have one hand up over here, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Think about it, Todd, that there's 8 mails to you. Say, it would be nice if this would change in Condor based on what they see, what the users are doing.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Just
Go
a
ahead.
quick technical question. So your HTCondor agent and your Elasticsearch agent, are they implemented on the NemoClaw stack that you described? And are they OpenClaw agents that are running behind the NemoClaw routing?
So we have all of it. So NemoClaw or OpenClaw, it's basically the same thing. So the NemoClaw just adds policies in front of it, but inside it's regular OpenClaw. So we have these agents in both places. One for development and one for actual production use. But so HTCondor is just one of the agents there, but Elasticsearch and execution MCPs are outside. They are not in.
I have a question about the email report and whether the agent setup allowed you to change your reporting stack. You had kind of reporting emails like this before, and now it's just implemented differently, or it gave you the ability to generate these reports in the first place. And then in either case, are they helpful? Do people read them? Are they useful? I just know I get a lot of emails already. So I was curious if using the AI functionality you feel improved the information and makes it more helpful, more likely you to read it and act on it.
So the thing is, I think they are more helpful than mails written by person, just because they tell you all the details, like, job with that ID, exactly what's ID. It gives you like, this is how much memory it used, and this is what's the limit. It gives you all the details that you could do as a human. You just don't bother with it. Right? And then it tells you, this is how you should change things to work better. And so people do respond to these emails. And if they don't respond in 7 days, AI bot will remember that it didn't respond and to tell us, maybe you should nudge again that user. Now, what we could do, we will do at some point, is once we are comfortable with this, we will have option that it doesn't really ask for permission to send email, and maybe even to edit their job, and then it's done everything for them, so they just send it again. That's it.
We have more questions?
Yeah, so I'm curious, your Elasticsearch index, does that include historical data, or do jobs leave the Elasticsearch at some point?
We have, I think, last few years at least.
So quite a lot of historical data.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had a question. I mean, I could speculate, but I'd like to hear what you think. Is you mentioned some authorization level that's in between regular user and Q super user for the agent to use. What kind of authorization would you like to see for the agent that's above a normal user but below the Q super user?
So, for example, it would be nice to have option, you only edit job, but you cannot delete user's job, for example. But
Yep.
you could imagine much finer grained.
Oh, I can imagine a lot of things, yes, but I was curious. of
I mean,
your-
at least a few more levels, like just
Yep.
not to be like no rights and full admin thing.
Correct. Okay, any other questions? Oh, yep, we got more. Okay, please wait for the mic.
Quick follow-up question. If you want only edits and not removal, does that imply you also want an undo ability?
Sorry,
Sorry, you said you wanted a permissions level that allowed edits but not removal. If I edit a job so that it's only got one attribute left, that is equivalent in every usable way to a removal. And so I was curious if you were also thinking about things like, I want the ability to roll back changes, or I want some built-in counter way to record the changes or audit them, whatever, that this tool has made, so that if it screws up, I can roll back.
he gonna answer.
I don't know.
I don't know. I would have to think about this. And it's, you know.
Comment from Zoom from Rafi Rubin. For what it's worth, we do collect all job and daemon class heads every few minutes and send to Elastic, though we have been doing more with ClickHouse and have been pleased with how it handles that volume in general and particularly for analysis.
I mean, the default is like 20 minutes, right? Every 20 minutes. I mean, I could make it like every minute, but it's still like a bit historic. It's not full real time on what's running.
Okay, well, thank you very much for a thoughtful talk.